Alright, today we are going to be talking all about the new Colourpop Little Mermaid collection. This one really snuck up on me. I feel like there wasn't a lot of advertisement about this before it launched, but I have to admit I was excited for it for a few reasons. One is the movie was very nostalgic for me growing up, and my daughter is super into it now. I like that this is a more capsule, smaller collection. We're going to do detailed swatches and try everything on. Let's go ahead and get into it. I will have everything linked, and if you decide to use my links, thank you so much. It really does support my channel. Starting off, of course, with the eyeshadow palette. So this collection includes a 12-pan eyeshadow palette. I'd venture to say that this is the item that people tend to be the most excited about. It's cardboard packaging without a mirror. And inside you have a color story that I would say is half colorful, half neutral. I think this makes sense because a lot of people do like having neutral tones, but I really would have loved if this palette was all colorful. Two of those mattes are mattes with shimmer. You'll see as I'm swatching the shimmers that you get some really pretty special ones in this palette. I love me an iridescent, especially when it's in a palette. So we have a blue iridescent, which is perfect for using as a highlighting shade. We also get a couple of duochromes in here, and I would say that those ones are pretty high impact. And by that, I mean they're pigmented even on the first swipe, they're sparkly, and they're shifty. Here is what all of the shimmers look like swatched in the back of my hand. I would say these are definitely giving ethereal mermaid vibes. And here is what the whole palette looks like swatched my arm. The mattes that are colorful, I feel like really do fit the theme. I would have loved to see a bright coral in here, something to go with the aesthetics of Ariel's hair, but maybe that's just being nitpicky. Alright, this collection also includes a brand new formula, and that is chrome highlighters. And you know I was excited about these because I love a chrome highlight. Wet n Wild gave us some beautiful, affordable chrome highlights, and I've been waiting for Colourpop to do their own version, so I was definitely really excited about these. So this is the first shade. This is called Not a Guppy, and to my eye, it looks like it has a kind of pale champagne silvery base with a blue-green shift. Here's a lighting where you can see that chrome shift a little bit better. I'll talk more about this formula when I do my try on, but to me, this formula does feel like it's more pigmented than the Wet n Wild. So to me, they're just kind of different formulas. I also feel like the Colourpop are a little bit kind of shiftier. This is the second shade, and it's called Soft Shell. Now, you can see that there is some flakiness in the texture of this one, more so than the green blue one. So I want to say if you're looking for something that has a completely smooth texture, then you may not like this one, although those flakes may kind of go away as you go deeper. I do apply both of the highlighters on camera, and I had a good experience with them on first impression, so we will get a bit of a closer look. Here is a lighting where you can see that kind of yellow-green shift. Alright, next product we have is a lip oil, and this one is just a clear lip oil. The packaging is cute, the presentation is super on theme, but at the end of the day, this is just a clear lip oil. This, I would say, is more of a collector's item. The last makeup piece of the collection is 2 lip kits, and each lip kit has one lip liner and a lippy stick. I do feel like these shades fit the vibes well. We have more of a berry toned one and then a super bright red one. It probably comes as no surprise that my favorite is the berry toned one. Super bright red lip products do intimidate me. I feel like these formulas are very tried and true. Even though the red isn't so much for me, I am happy that we have something in the collection that really does go along with Ariel's bright red hair. And then this collection actually includes a couple of accessories as well. I love that they included these, especially for people that are into collector's pieces. They have this little claw clip. It's a flounder clip, and the quality actually feels pretty nice, I'd say. I've never tried a clip from Colourpop. And this little shell-shaped mirror, which I've already gifted to my daughter because I knew she would love it. All right, let's go ahead and dive in to using this palette. I am excited about it because I've seen some really pretty looks with it. I wasn't sure, you know, how I felt about this color story because it's kind of like half neutral, half colorful. I do kind of wish they had really gone for it, but these pops of color, I think we can do a lot with them. So I'm gonna start off with this bright yellow tone shade here, and I did put the About Face primer down and a little bit of powder, but that's it. So we're really going to put these brighter shades to the test and see how they show up on brown skin. And I'm just going to really build up that pigment on the inner portion here. All right, I like that so far. I'm going to take a little bit on a thinner brush and just add a little bit in that same corresponding area to the lower lash line. All right, now I'm going to pop this green tone in the outer corner. Ooh, that is really beautifully pigmented. All right, just building it up a little bit. I think I want to add that blue to just deepen the outer corner. And adding a little bit along the lower lash line just to connect it. All right, I am liking where we're at. I'm gonna add a little bit of this kind of rich blue and just put a little bit in the outermost corner to deepen it up a little bit, just kind of along the lash line. And then I'll kind of blend it up into that beautiful teal green. And then a tiny bit along the lower lash line as well. All right, that was definitely the depth that I was looking for. Now I'm going to take this kind of pale pink matte and I'm just going to add it along the brow bone, and then I'm going to add a little bit to that inner corner. Then I'm just going to add a little bit along the lower lash line and then kind of blend it down into my blush. Again, I've been enjoying kind of experimenting with matte placement and just getting used to like seeing more eyeshadow below the lower lash line. It feels less weird to me than it did. All right, I really like how this is coming together, but now we're gonna play with these shimmers, and there are some really pretty shimmers in this palette. So I am excited. So I'm putting a little bit of shimmer primer on my lid. And this is the Clionadh one. This is the one that I've been using pretty much exclusively. I need to get more because this has been my favorite. If you have other shimmer primers you like, definitely let me know, because I would like to play around with a few others. I get asked about which ones I recommend. I feel like I need to have a couple of others in my arsenal as well. So now I am going to take this shimmer here called Merfolk, and I wonder if I should put a couple of shimmers on the lid. So I'll put this one on. No, I'm just going to put one shimmer because I'm going to play around with some of the other shimmers. That is, ooh, that is so pretty. It doesn't look green at all when you put it in the lid, on the lid. It has a very, very kind of strong pink shift, but that looks so ethereal. I gotta say, that has to be one of the better chrome shadows from a Colourpop palette. So here is what it looks like applied to the lid. All right, and of course, I have to use this blue iridescent. Again, I don't know. I know that there's a Super Shock that's blue iridescent, but I feel like maybe Colourpop has done blue iridescents before, but I am really excited for this shade. I love a blue iridescent. So just put that on the inner corner. The texture of this is pretty smooth. You do kind of have to build it up a little bit if you want more opacity, but I feel like that looks pretty. All right, now I'm just gonna add a little bit of this blue shimmer to the brow bone because I want to use as many shades in the palette as possible. All right, I added some mascara. Now I'm gonna use one of the Colourpop kind of chrome cream gel liners. This actually glides on really beautifully. And it just felt like the perfect day for a green chrome liner. All right, and here is the finished eye look. I'm really happy with how everything performed. There are some shades in here that I'm not sure how much I'll use, these mattes with shimmer, but the colorful shades in here and the shimmers are really beautiful. And you know, if you are someone who gravitates toward neutrals and you think you're going to use neutrals more, then I suppose it is nice to have some neutrals in this palette. We have 2 chrome highlighters, and I am so excited about that because I have loved the ones from Wet n Wild. I love in general that more of the affordable brands are doing chrome highlighters. I am kind of curious how these are going to perform. These could definitely be used as eyeshadows because they feel like they're a bit more textured, although you know, the top layer kind of like feels flaky, but like underneath that, it does seem like it's smoother and it doesn't look to me like it's an overspray. So let's give it a go. It's swatched beautifully. This one is like a champagne with a blue-green shift. Oh, that applies really beautifully with a finger. And I would say actually like this one is more impactful than the one from Wet n Wild, which I'm happy about because, you know, this cost $12. The one from Wet n Wild is $7. So I'm happy that it seems like you're getting kind of like a chromier chrome, but this one is super pretty. This, by the way, is the shade Not a Guppy. And then on the other cheek, let's use the shade Soft Shell, which is kind of like a pinky shade that has, when I swatched it, it seemed like it had kind of a golden shift. But, you know, I feel like you're mostly going to see pink, but in certain kind of angles, you'll probably see some gold. That is also really beautiful. Again, I think you could use a brush with this, but it also applies really beautifully with your finger. Oh, I am so excited about these highlighters. All right, and we do have a few lip products. This looks cool, but honestly, it's just a clear lip oil, so it's gonna be, you know, for the collectors more than anything else. Yeah, doesn't really have a tint or anything. It is comfortable, but, you know, nothing particularly stand out about this lip product other than the packaging and the fact that it looks cool in the tube. All right, we do have a couple of lip combos. I'm gonna start off with the one that is less me because this is a bold red, but we'll give it a go. It seems really bright. I like that they included the formulas that people know and love. Right, and this is pretty much the exact same shade as the lip liner. All right, here is the first combo. Not for me, but I hope that seeing a swatch of it is still helpful nonetheless. All right, this berry tone combo is definitely more my speed, but let's go ahead and pop this on. This is gonna go with the look so much better. All right, and here is the second combo. And I think I mentioned this before, but these lip combos are sold in sets. So you get one of the lip liners and the lippy sticks in each little kit. All right, and the other things that you get in this collection are the mirror and this claw clip. These are really cute. I think I'm actually going to use this claw clip. The mirror I'm going to give to my daughter because she is going to think this is adorable and she loves The Little Mermaid. All right, now that I've had a chance to go through everything and do some detailed swatches and a try on of each of the products, let's close up with some wrap-up thoughts. So I gotta say, this is definitely a really nice collection. I, kind of talked about some of the things I may have changed about the palette, but I gotta say that as a whole, I think that this collection is one of my favorite Disney collections that they've done. I had a lot of fun playing with everything, and I love the fact that, since it is a mermaid collection, they brought us some chromes. They put some chromes in the palette, and they gave us some chrome highlighters, because how can you have a mermaid collection and not have chromes? And I love the fact that they are playing around with a new formula and giving us chrome highlighters. I've been waiting for it. My favorite pieces from the collection are the palette and the highlighters. I think if I were to choose anything from this collection, those would be the items. I did notice that they have a bundle for the palette and the highlighters. Of course, you can buy them separately as well, but I think you do get a bit of a discount if you choose those items. So I think that's smart that they created that bundle. I think the lip kits are nice. I think the berry toned one looks the best on me. I don't know if it's my favorite color on me personally, but it is my favorite of the two. I think the accessories are so cute for me. They felt like, a little bit non-essential, but they're honestly adorable. I'm really excited to be able to give this to my daughter. And if you are a big fan of Little Mermaid, I love that you have some of these more collectible items and they feel like a really nice quality. I think if I had had time to do another look, I would have loved to do a yellow and blue halo eye. I just feel like that would be so striking, like yellow in the middle and blue on the inner and the outer corner would be so standout, because these two shades both perform well and the contrast between them is lovely. And how could you not think of these two shades when you think of The Little Mermaid? Total flounder vibes. I would love to hear at this point what you think of this collection. What is your favorite part? Do you think that you will pick anything up? Let me know in the comments. As always, I really hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.